Hello, and welcome back to the Building Your Brand podcast. And in this episode, I want to share with you some different ways that I am trying to be more productive at the moment. And I've put in brackets, or I will put in brackets, in a non-toxic way, because this isn't to say that like our goal in life should just be to constantly be optimizing everything and constantly be more productive. I don't think that is necessarily the goal, but as someone who runs my own business and is wearing many hats and juggling a very long to-do list, I've been trying to find some ways that I can save time in my business and be more productive. So I've got 3 of them to share with you. And the first one is actually an app called the Padlock App. And you've probably seen these everywhere. I feel like this year they're all the rage. I was getting ads for them constantly, and then my friend Hannah got one and I really like the idea, so I decided to give it a go. So basically you get this like physical padlock. I think it's like made with a 3D printer. So it's this like grey padlock, and what happens is you download an app that goes with it, and then you can set the app to block certain other apps on your phone. So for me, for example, I have chosen all of my social media platforms, so like Instagram, Threads, LinkedIn, TikTok. Are there any more? I think that's mainly it. There's also a game that I get really addicted to, so I've blocked that as well. And so what you can do then is you go into the app and you tap your phone on the padlock and it locks all of those apps. And so like what a lot of people will do is then have that padlock, the other side of the house or in another room, so that basically if they want to unlock those apps on their phone, they have to get up and they have to go downstairs. There's some friction there. So potentially, they'll look at that and they'll think, oh, I can't be bothered to go down to the padlock to unlock it. So there's like a very physical element to it. I've tried apps in the past that block, other apps. I feel like I'm saying that in such a weird way. But yeah, apps that block other apps in the past. But I actually really like the physicality of having to tap your phone on the padlock. And what's really nice about it is that like other people in the house can use it. So they can download the app, set their own parameters. Even if you had like a friend come round and they had the app, everyone can use like one padlock. The other thing that I love about it is that there isn't like a subscription for the app. So you buy the padlock and you download the app and then that's it. Like you're not paying like a monthly fee or anything like that. And that is really helping. I've set it up in a way that I tap it, lock my apps, and then basically every hour I get a 5-minute break and then I can go on all of those apps without having to use the padlock to unlock it. Obviously, like sometimes I'll need to go and unlock it if like I'm posting some content on Instagram and I want to be able to reply to all the comments. I mean, a lot of the time I can do that on my desktop as well. I actually did it recently when I went out somewhere, and so the sort of temptation to constantly be getting distracted by my phone and like looking, like honestly so much of it is muscle memory, like just picking up my phone, having a look on Instagram, like it really removed that temptation. And also it was just nice knowing that I would be able to check things. I mean, it's mainly Instagram. Check Instagram in that 5-minute like little window every hour. So that sort of setup works really well for me. So that is the Padlock app. I've got an affiliate link for that. In fact, you can use the code, like the code is just my name, so just Liz, and it gives you 30% off, which is really cool. So I'll like put the link to it in the show notes, but I am really enjoying using that. And if you get it with the discount, like it actually is very reasonable. Like I think one of the cheapest that I've seen, there's like a few different brands that are doing them. Okay, so my second way that I'm trying to be more productive, and I feel like I've talked about this on the podcast before, and I've tried this in all sorts of different ways, but it is batching. I don't necessarily do this in every area of my business, but with these solo episodes, for example, I batch how I create them. So I will have one session where I'll record a whole host of episodes. So in this kind of like current recording setup, I'm doing 4 episodes. So I'm recording them all in one go. Then another chunk of time, I'll edit them all in one go, all on the same timeline. Actually, I mean, that's like a whole other, maybe I have done a video about how I edit in Premiere Pro, but basically I can edit multiple episodes on the same timeline in Premiere Pro, and it just makes it a lot easier for me. And then I will hand them over to Lois, and Lois will create like the thumbnails and, do all the other bits. So there's like different ways that I'm batching parts of the process when it comes to these solo episodes. Another example is the other day I met up in person with my friend Hannah. I was an affiliate for her membership, and one of the sort of like bonuses that I got for the amount of sales I'd made was like a VIP day is too long. It was like a few hours, but we met up and basically we sat down and one of my goals was to do a lot more carousel posts. And so we sat down and wrote so many carousel posts. I think I had at least 25 ideas, and most of those were written out so that then they were ready for me to make. So that was like one batching session. And then I'm going to have another batching session where I basically sit and put them, like design them all, put them into designs. And then I'll probably have another session where I schedule them all and like write the captions. So I'm basically breaking up the process and doing this sort of like batching. It's not a complex idea, but I definitely do find that it helps me a lot. As I said, I don't do this in every area of my business, but with things like this, where I, like the podcast, where I know that there's an episode going out every week, it really, really helps me to get ahead and to do a chunk at a time. Okay, so the third way I'm trying to be more productive at the moment is by creating a master business Trello board. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, I hate Trello, it doesn't matter what it is, like use whatever tool you want. But I basically needed some sort of depository where I could store a whole bunch of like kind of not that important information, but very helpful information that I reach for frequently, but also information that I need to share with Lois, who works with me on my business a lot of the time. So here's an example. One of the columns in the Trello board is all of my affiliate links, because what we were noticing was that Lois was having to ask me a lot, like, oh, can you send me the affiliate link for Super Profile? Oh, can you send me the affiliate link for the Padlock app? All of this kind of stuff. And so we decided that we needed to, I decided, actually Lois probably was like, Liz, you need to do this. But basically we decided that we needed to put together this place where we could store, everything. And what's really cool is we keep thinking of things to add to it that I think are going to be really helpful. So it's going to have, like all the hex codes that we use for the brand. It's going to have all the different bios that I send out to people, like folders with like headshots, like all the different photography that we use for my brand categorized. It's going to have workflows and processes for the things that we do, like kind of weekly on a regular basis. So Lois is going to document all her workflows of the things that she does for the podcast, so that we've just got everything sitting there and we can both easily reference it. And I genuinely think it is going to save us so much time, and it's going to be a great productivity hack, because that information will just be sitting there. Lois can just go grab whatever she needs. She isn't going to be held up by me. I'm not going to have to spend time trying to find her the right link. To be honest, as I say this, probably most business owners have done this already, and I'm just like way behind. And I've definitely done this in other tools, like in Adobe Express, I've got my brand kit and my photography, and she has access to that and it's all shared. But I think having this kind of like master Trello board is really going to help us. And so those are the 3 ways that I'm trying to be more productive at the moment. Now, I'm sure you all have much better productivity hacks than me, and I would love to hear them. So if there is something that has worked really, really well for you recently, that has saved you loads of time, then come let me know what it is, because honestly, I want to learn from all of you. I'm at Liz M. Mosley, or at Building Your Brand Podcast on Instagram, and I love carrying on the conversation from these episodes. So come let me know what you think and what your productivity hack is.